Hi everyone, welcome to the free program preview session for the Caltech CDME Data Analytics Bootcamp. I'm Rasha Khan and I'm your host for today's webinar. I'm joining all the way from India here. Would love to know where are you tuning in from. You can let us know by dropping us a hello on the chat with your introduction and where are you tuning in from as well. I'm just putting down my introduction on the chat here quickly for you folks. And also, thank you so much for joining in early. We still have like 5 minutes, to start the session. But why not just, give few intros here before we start. Also, we are streaming live on a YouTube channel as well. So folks, I see a lot of folks have joined us there as well already. So you can let us know your introductions on the chat and where are you tuning in from on the chat here. Let's network a bit. It's always good to network at these events before we start. I see a few introductions have started coming in already. I see Kuntal here. Kuntal says hello. Kuntal, good afternoon. Where are you joining us from? I see Chiragi Ravar here who has joined us from Philadelphia. Welcome. Thank you so much for introduction. And I see a few hellos and good evening coming on the YouTube live stream chat as well. Would love to know your name and where are you tuning in from, folks, on the YouTube live chat box as well. Awesome. I see Rajesh has joined us from India, and I see Tenna has joined us from Nigeria on the YouTube live chat box. I see Binagay has joined us from US. Lillian. Okay, sorry. So in today's free program preview session, we'll be talking about how you can kickstart your data analytics journey in 2024 with the Caltech CTME Data Analytics Bootcamp. I see a lot more new folks joining in. So in case you have just joined right now, please don't worry. We have just started the session a few bits early, so you can just interact on the chat here and get settled in before we start. So you can just drop us a hello on the chat here and let us know your name and where are you tuning in from before we start the session. In few minutes, right on time. I see Kuntal Chakrabarti has given us an introduction on the chat. Says that I'm joining from Toronto, Canada. I'm working as a data and analyst role, mostly in finance and energy power last 4 years. Also working Python, R, PySpark, Azure, and like in cloud architecture. So thank you so much, Kuntal. That's a really good introduction, and it's really good to have a fellow data analyst here. And would love to know any insights you might want to share as well with the folks here and our speaker, and any questions you might have about the program. I see a lot more new introductions coming in on the YouTube live chat box as well. I see Suraj has joined us from India and chatting from Nigeria. I see Sina from Kurdistan. I see Ibrahim has joined us from Chad. I see Saus Carlo from Brazil on the chat. Welcome. So meanwhile, you folks are giving introductions here. Let me just quickly take you through the few quick ground rules we have here. This is to make sure that your experience with this webinar is amazing. And so the few quick ground rules here you will have to follow. So in case you have any question for our speaker, expert, you'll have to put down your questions in the Q&A box. You can easily navigate it just beside the chat box where you can see our amazing introductions coming in. And the session is being recorded in case you want to go through the recording of the session once again. In case you miss anything, please don't worry. You can expect a follow-up email from us with the recording link to view. Also, for the webinar certificate for attending this webinar, you'll have to request a proof of attendance by putting down your full name in the post-webinar survey by Zoom here. This is only for folks who have joined us live on Zoom. So in case you have just joined right now, because I see a lot of you are still joining in because we are just starting the session, please don't worry. I will nudge about these ground rules on the chat as well throughout the session and also towards the end. In case you have any queries, please don't, invite to ask me. So moving on to the next slide here. And this program is powered by Simplilearn, world's #1 online bootcamp. We have been in the digital skill training space for almost more than a decade now. And we are very proud that we have transformed lives by empowering people via these digital skills. And we'll be talking about the skill data analytics today and the Caltech CTMA Data Analytics Bootcamp. We have advanced over 5 lakh plus careers in over 150 plus countries, and we have 800 plus qualified trainees here. Starting with today's agenda quickly. The first and the most important agenda of today's session is about you, getting to know about you, how we can help you out in your career better. And will be next agenda, we'll be talking about data analytics career in 2024. And then we'll be moving on to the program introduction by Caltech CTM Data Analytics Bootcamp, how exactly it prepares you, how exactly the learning environment of the program looks like, what exactly the learning path is of the program, and how exactly this program also gets you job ready as well. Based on the interest you share, we'll be quickly taking you through the enrollment steps of the program. And also there will be a special duration towards the end for the Q&A part. So in case you have any questions, I'm pretty sure you're here because you are interested in data analytics or you are trying to find your way through the data analytics career. So in case you have any questions, the Q&A box is open. Please quickly go and put down your questions there. And as you move on towards the program introduction, you can also raise your questions about the program as well in the Q&A box. And the Q&A is towards the end. But in case the speaker gets any time during the session, we'll try to answer your queries as many as possible. But towards the end, we'll address most of the queries possible, depending on the amount of time we have. So moving on to the next slide here. As I mentioned, the first agenda of today's session is getting to know a little bit about you. So let's start with a quick poll here, which says that how many years of experience do you have? So I'm launching this quick poll on Zoom. These have 4 quick options here to select from. You can choose the most suitable for you. The first one here is currently studying. Second one, 0 to 3 years. And third one, 3 to 5 years. And the fourth one, more than 5 years. I see folks have already started sharing their responses on the poll here. Thank you so much. Also, I see amazing introductions while I was actually talking about the slides on the chat here. Billy has joined us from Texas. Is currently looking for work and enhancing his knowledge here. Thank you so much, Billy. Michigan. Okay, I see Piper has joined us from Michigan. Please correct me if that is not your name. I'm just taking it out from the email ID here. And you're working as a medical coder for a local hospital. Interesting. I see Rosemary has joined us from Texas, US, and says that I'm working as a product manager for a healthcare organization. Interesting. Thank you so much for introductions. Okay, thank you, Piper. And a lot more introductions on the YouTube live chat box as well. I see Bokwa has joined us from US, Ibrahim from Chad, Ketaki from Hyderabad, and a few basically answers coming for the poll as well of the YouTube live chat box. Orlando has joined us from, Christina has joined us from Orlando and says that I'm a learning program manager. Archie from Scotland, learning and content manager as well. Awesome. I see most of you have responded for this poll here. A lot of new folks have just joined in. We are just getting started. Please don't worry. You have not basically, we have not skipped anything here. We're just doing a quick poll here to understand how many years of experience do you have and also to get to know you a little better. So our last 5 seconds for the poll here, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you folks. Let's see what have you voted for. So I see 40% of you have more than 5 years of experience. Interesting. And 30% of you have are currently studying, and 25% of you have 0 to 3 years of experience, and 5% of you have 3 to 5 years of experience. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And few responses on the YouTube live chat box as well, with currently studying more than 5 years on the chat box as well. Thank you so much, folks, for sharing that with us. Now, I would like to introduce you to our speaker and expert, Basil Daklala, who's a data analytics and engineering senior manager here. He basically also is leading 3 teams: marketing and growth analytics, reporting and visualization, and DQA and automation. He is building advanced analytics applications for internal business users and healthcare clients, and also has conducted training sessions for 500 plus employees and consultants in the industry. And also is a Simplilearn trainer for Caltech, UT Dallas, and Purdue University programs. So Basil, a very good morning to you. And once again, welcome to the program preview session. We have an interesting program preview lined up with a lot of insights about the program. We'll be talking more about that, but before that, would love to know a little bit about you. I'm pretty sure this slide does not cover the amount of experience and skills you have.
Yeah, thank you, Rasha, for the kind introduction. And hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good day so far. Very excited to be and join you on this webinar. So as Rasha mentioned, I have great experience in data analytics and engineering, and I currently lead a few teams, including marketing and growth analytics and reporting visualization. So my experience has a wide spectrum of different applications in terms of machine learning, advanced analytics, and reporting and visualization. And in addition to that, also I manage a department for DQA and automation. And when we say DQA, that's a terminology in the data industry, basically stands for data quality and assurance, which you will eventually learn if you take the course. You'll eventually learn about the importance of having good standards and procedures for your data quality assurance so you can avoid having any problems with your reporting or make bad decisions based on bad data. But in addition to my professional experience, I also have a proven track record of developing learning materials and conducting sessions to train employees in my company, and then also been working with Simplilearn for a while, conducting also sessions and training for Caltech, UTD, and Purdue University.
Thank you so much, Basil, for your introduction. And I think Apurva has asked for your LinkedIn link, so I'll just quickly share it on the chat here before we start. Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to add me on there. Definitely open to help with any questions you may have about Simplilearn or career questions.
Sure. Moving on to the next slide here, starting with talking about careers in data analytics in 2024. Starting with how exactly data is driving the digital economy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think by now we're all aware of the impact and the importance of data. And with that, we've been gathering so much data. The numbers are astonishing. So you see here in the second bullet point, it is predicted that we're going to reach 175 zettabytes in 2025. I think some scientists did an estimate of how many pages, if you stack them on top of each other, that will take, and it's taller than the Mount Everest, believe it or not. It's a crazy number, astronomical number. But all that to say is there's a huge abundance of data, right? And with a lot of digital technologies, a lot of digital machines and processing power that is available at hand, we need a lot of data analysts and data scientists to join the workforce so they can help analyze and understand the data and come up with useful patterns so we can make mindful decisions. So you can see that big data spending is growing. It's been growing in the past 20 years, and this growth is accelerating. So we've got $41 billion dollars in 2019. That is going to jump over double to $116 billion in 2027. And that's a big sign of the amount of growth that will happen to the digital economy and specifically for data analytics and data science. So with that, obviously things are moving very fast, and you need to keep up with the new trends in data analysis. And to be a successful data analyst and have that niche, you need to have a lot of skills on your resume. I've hired people in the past, and there are a lot of things that continuously change, a lot of things that we always look for when we come up with new trend, new technology that is needed for our business. So you've been hearing about generative AI now with the explosion of Chat GPT and other GPT platforms, data ethics, data analytics in general, SQL, which is a querying language for databases, ETL, which stands for extract, transform, and load. This is a very important step in terms of integrating the data together and preparing it for reporting. Visualization is very important. I always use the famous saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And throughout visualization, we can always tell a story in one visual versus trying to give a 20, 30-page report. And then a very important skill set, which is learning Python. Python is becoming the hottest language to learn nowadays, and it's one of the top skill set. And definitely learning Python will put you at the top of the list compared to other candidates. Having knowledge of statistics is also important. Statistical analysis using Excel. And this is very important to note here. If you go online, you'll see a lot of blogs, a lot of platforms out there always talking about migrating away from Excel. I personally do not believe that is true 100%. Excel is still powerful and important and relevant to our day-to-day lives because of its flexibility and ability to do analysis in our data. Even though we have a lot of skilled people on our team, I can tell you this is a practical example. We have a lot of skilled people on our team, and they can do a lot of great stuff in Python and other software. They still use Excel for a one-off or ad hoc quick analysis. And then for data analytics, extension to that, you have using R, which is a statistical software, open source software that you could use, and it has its own programming language. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Python. Some important algorithms that are useful to learn as well is linear and logistic regression, which will help you apply prediction based on your provided data. Also clustering using k-means or k-nearest neighbors. You can also look into supervised learning or unsupervised learning techniques, which you will have an introduction about in this course. And then very important skill set, I always look for that in people's resumes, visualization with Tableau and Power BI. Now, you don't have to limit your visualization skill set to just these two products, but they are the most popular ones. So the industry basically goes to Tableau or Power BI. You see, there's always that split. There are other products out there, but I always recommend people to at least have knowledge with one of these two products, which will increase your chances in getting accepted in an application. Next slide, please.
Yeah. Also, Basil, talking about the salaries here in data analytics sector. What can folks expect, when basically there are, aspiring for this career in data analytics? And as you can see, the annual salary ranges for data analysts starts from 56K dollars a minimum wage to 108K dollars a maximum wage annually. And also we can see a 28% annual job growth by 2026 year. This we have gotten from a source from DICE. And also talking about, when they move up, with their career to a senior data analyst role, their salary can go up to 156K dollars here. So what are folks in for when they actually are, aspiring for this career here or trying to basically move ahead also in this data analytics career, in your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Quick comment here. I mean, these numbers are averages, so just bear in mind that you will have changes depending on your region, depending on your skill set, your years of experience. So a lot of factors play a major factor here. And you can see there's a difference between a typical data analyst and the senior data analyst. I would say the main difference between the two here is that where the senior data analyst has more knowledge and experience with statistical modeling and more technical experience in terms of having flexibility with different database engines, having flexibility and knowledge with different programming languages between Python and R, for example, and comfortable with SQL.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Moving on to the examples of companies, that would be hiring for the data analytics role here. Amazon, JP Morgan, Chase and Co, Accenture, Google, Kaiser Permanente, and Wells Fargo being very, few of them. And moving on to the next slide here. So we have talked about how exactly data is, running the data economy here, and also we basically have talked about the skills. Also, you need to basically, basically learn to basically approach the data analytics career here. So, what exactly is stopping you from becoming a data analytics expert here? So I'm just launching a quick poll here. Now, this is to understand what exactly is stopping you or what exactly are the challenges you might be facing when it comes to pursuing a career in data analytics. So this one is a multiple choice poll which is just launched, and you can select multiple options here because there can be multiple concerns. Basically, when it comes to pursuing a career in data analytics, we're getting some few interesting comments on the chat I can see here from Kuntal, who's a data analyst himself. The duration of this webinar is 60 minutes, and the program fee will be shared in the upcoming slides, if that answers your question. Let me also just quickly read out these options here. I see that you folks have already started voting here for the options. So the first one here is, I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. Second one, I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And the third one, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And the fourth one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So last 5 seconds for the poll here, folks. What's stopping you from becoming a data analytics expert? And obviously, if these options do not cover your challenges or the concerns you might have when it comes to pursuing a career in data analytics, the Q&A box is open. We have already started getting some interesting questions there. So that's great. We'll be answering those questions shortly whenever the speaker gets time. I see Nazia. Basically, the slides aren't visible for you. The slides are actually visible because I can see we're streaming also live. Maybe just check. Might be a tech issue from your end, Nazia. Mehri, I can see your query in the Q&A box. Awesome. I'll be ending the poll now. Thank you so much for sharing your responses for this poll. Let me just also quickly share the results. Let's see what have you voted for here. So what's stopping you from becoming a data analytics expert? I see 37% of you have voted for, I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. And 41% of you have voted for, I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And 14% of you have voted for I find it difficult to learn from recorded videos, and 35% you have given votes for my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And along with that, I see more questions coming in on the chat here. So please make sure that you put down your questions in the Q&A box, because our speaker will be looking at the Q&A box when basically we will be addressing your queries here. So quickly introducing you to the Caltech CTMS Data Analytics Bootcamp. It comes with a comprehensive industry and learning path. We'll be talking about the learning path in much more detail in the upcoming slides. And for basically we have gotten a lot of votes for how exactly this program will get you job ready. We can answer that with the integrated hands-on labs and projects which you can add on for your practical experience, for showcasing your portfolios to your future employers. And also, this program has a blended learning, basically kind of format where you get access to online live virtual classrooms where you get to interact with the instructor, and also among your fellow students as well. About that, Basil, just quickly, I'm pretty sure the crowd might have a question, because you take these sessions, live sessions, virtual sessions for these programs. So what kind of experience students can expect when they actually get access to these online live virtual classrooms, and also what kind of interaction happens with the instructor, and also are they able to interact with the fellow students as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel very good about the program that we set up here for our learners, because if you think about it, it covers a lot of different aspects in 360, because you have multiple resources in the course. The first one is the self-paced learning. That's a very important concept. If you are one of those people that like to study on your own at your own pace, we have our pre-recorded videos where you can watch and talks about the concept. And then uh, to supplement that, we have the live sessions. And this is where you come into the live session, whether you want to be prepared by reading or going through the self-paced session, you could attend the live session. And I always recommend all learners to attend the live session. It's actually part of the requirements to get the certificate. But the reason why the live session is very important, this is your opportunity to ask as many questions as possible to the instructors, okay? The instructors have so much experience, and I feel like most of us, we prepare very well to a lot of questions and able to expand on certain concepts live. And we'll be able to help or go through certain problems, programming scenarios that we can always demonstrate the power of the analytics techniques that we want to teach in this course. So we have that aspect. And then on top of that, we provide what we call Jupyter notebooks or code assets, things that you can take home with you, you can use as a reference in the future, whether for your learning journey or for your career.
Thank you so much for sharing the live virtual classroom experience, and also, the blended learning format we have for the program. Also, as we saw that a lot of you have more than 5 years of experience, which was 40% of you when we did that poll of experience. So the program duration here is of 6 months. In case you're working professional, if you have your own business, or, if you're engaged somewhere else, you have commitments. So this program is very flexible that way. You can just complete it by giving 10 to 15 hours per week in the 6 months of duration of the program. Also talking about the Caltech CTMA advantage here. So the California Institute of Technology is a 130-year-old institution, and it is a home and alma mater to a lot of Nobel laureates here. And it consistently ranks in the top 5 universities worldwide. And having a Caltech CTMA, university on your CV is prestigious accomplishment worldwide. Talking about the eligibility and the prerequisites for taking up the program. So prior coding experience or technology know-how is optional. If you have it, that's great. And a high school diploma or equivalent, and you need to be at least 18 years of age for taking up this program. And you are encouraged to have a prior work experience, but it is not compulsory, not mandatory here. It is helpful if you have some experience here. And moving on to the next agenda, how this program by Caltech CTMA prepares you. Starting with the learning part of the program. Basul, can you take us through these steps, how exactly this program by Caltech CTMA builds their data analytics, skills step by step? But also we'll be talking more about it in detail in the learning management system of the program. But yeah, definitely we can quickly go through the overview before that.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. And before we begin with this, just to quickly comment on the requirements. And I know Apurva had some questions about requirements. So think of this as, because I did work with different types or different levels of experience for learners that joined this program. If you have very basic idea about analytics, this course is suitable for you. If you have some knowledge or some experience, I would say still take this course because it enforces your knowledge and it fills in some gaps, things that you probably did not know that existed, because this is a very thoughtful, very thorough course. It has a lot of exercises, a lot of projects involved in it, and this will help you in the aspect of improving your skill set and showcasing your work to a recruiter or your current boss if you're trying to seek for a promotion. So regardless of the level of experience, I would say this is a very good course that is well-rounded and gives you a lot of practical applications. Now, with what I just said, I can walk you through these steps high level, and then we can jump into the platform to show you how you can navigate through these courses. But starting from the first component here, we're going to start off with something that most of you are familiar with, which is Excel. And I talked about the importance of Excel and how relevant it is to this day. And I think one of you asked about Smart Sheets. That's a good question. My recommendation is to still proceed Excel because it is universal. Wherever you go, Excel is relevant, right? Not every company is comfortable with using Smart Sheets. So I would say start by crafting Excel. And then on another important aspect is if you go to a bookstore or you look up books online, I mean, look at any references about Excel, you'll see the reference is this thick. Excel is one of the most comprehensive data analysis softwares out there. And it can do a lot from just doing typical spreadsheet analysis and putting tables together to building visualization all the way to doing VBA or Visual Basic automation so you can build your custom statistical analysis. So Excel is, I would say, is more expansive and popular than other products out there. So highly recommend learning Excel first. Okay. And then the second part is in the course, data acquisition and manipulation using SQL. I think this is a number one skill set pretty much. I would look for in anybody that I'm trying to hire on my team. You need to learn how you can acquire data. That is very important skill set because when you work at a company, data management company, data analysis company, you need to have skills how you can grab the data, extract it using any means like Python or SQL, and then transforming it and putting it together. And with that aspect, it's a good segue to the next one, which is ETL, extract, transform, and load. This is where you can learn about the high-level production pipeline. Think about this as once you go through the phase of research, of putting the pieces together and the components together in your data, you need to learn about how you could do that in production systems. When I say production systems, meaning scaling your system bigger, right? When you look into data acquisition and manipulation using SQL, think of this as that your research phase and you're starting with a subset of your data. But let's say you built a very successful prototype, you wanted to broadcast that and productionalize that. That's the terminology. You need to learn about the ETL techniques so you can build a successful process that could process your data on a large scale and extract and transform the tables so they can be useful for data analysis. Okay. And when we say extract and transfer, we're talking about transformation in the data, things like data aggregation, data cleansing. There are a lot of issues in the data sometimes that could happen. Data standardization, okay, data normalization. So we'll learn about all these different techniques and the do's and don'ts. Next step is going to be data visualization using Tableau. As I mentioned, Tableau and Power BI, these are the two industry standards nowadays. And Tableau is becoming also the industry standard for sharing visualization to stakeholders, building dashboards. So we're going to learn about how we could build insights and charts in Tableau and how we can put them together in an interactive dashboard. Next, we're going to dive into fundamentals in Python programming. This is another recommendation of mine, is to always learn about Python, knowing a thing or two, even if your industry does not recommend it, if your current position does not recommend it. I would say try to learn Python because it will help you automate the mundane stuff at least. Okay, so we're going to learn about the fundamentals of Python so you can be successful at applying Python for data analysis, which takes me to the next phase, data analytics with Python. And specifically, we're going to be focusing on libraries like pandas. If you've heard of pandas before, think of this as the alternative to Excel, where you can do a lot of operations, tabular operations in data using pandas. And then the last step here is the capstone project. Back to my point originally is that we are going to train you to work on real world applications using capstone projects.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Basil, for taking us through these steps here of the program. Talking about the electives here, the essentials of generative AI, prompt engineering, and GPT, applications of generative AI in data analytics, data storytelling using Power BI, and data analytics with R programming and data ethics here. So the electives here are optional. They come as a part of the program. It is up to you if you want to take them up. So we don't charge anything extra for these electives here. Moving on to the tools and the platforms we'll be covering this program here, Marcel. We have gotten one question. I think I'm not able to find that question, folks. We are getting a lot of questions on the chat box. Please
yeah,
help me with the queries in the Q&A box or a speaker. That will be
sure.
very helpful. So, I think
Would
there
you
was a
like
question
me to read
about
through
tools.
them?
Yeah, I think there was a question about what tools we'll be using in the program. Are we covering that or not? I'm not able to find that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I can take this one. So you can see here we have a list, but we've got many more. This is just a list of the most common ones. So Excel, obviously, and I think one of you asked about if you don't have an Excel license. I believe with a OneDrive account, you can have Excel for free online. And there's also student versions if you're enrolled in a university. So there are a few ways where you can have access to Excel. And then I talked about pandas on the right here. So you see that pandas is very popular graphing and data analysis library offered by Python, then Tableau and SQL. Again, SQL is the go-to language to query and integrate data together regardless of the database. So there are multiple database engines depending on the company, depending on the structure, and SQL is universal in most cases. And then last but not least, Python for automation and a holistic approach for data analysis.
Thank you so much for taking us through the tools and platforms we'll be covering in the program, Basil. And as you mentioned, there are many more to start with. And moving on to the next slide, you're talking about the caption projects, which are very important. I think you've already mentioned about the caption project. But just to to go through it once again, how exactly the caption projects are helpful for folks who do not have any experience in data analytics, and how can they showcase it through these projects they get to work on in the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about our approach here that we provide as many practical applications and projects as possible where they can prepare you for different industries. So at the end of the course, Now, let me talk actually first about throughout the course. So throughout the course, we have a running capstone, which is a project that you will work on along with the instructor. And then at the end of every course, there's also a project that is due by the end of the course. And then when you finish the full cohort, which is made of multiple courses, there's also think of it as like the final graduation capstone project. And that capstone project should be comprehensive of all the topics that I just explained. So the Excel analysis, the statistical analysis, the Python analysis, all that, and the visualization, which is think of it as it's going to enforce all the applications and the concepts that you've learned throughout the full 6-month cohort. Okay. And then we give you the option to choose one project out of the list. So it gives you flexibility to find the project that you love the most or you think more relevant to the industry you're seeking.
Thank you so much for answering my question. Moving on to the next slide here, introducing the learning management of environment of the Caltech CDMA Data Analytics Bootcamp here. Basil, you can feel free to share your screen. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'm quickly giving them an overview of what exactly we'll be covering in this learning environment while you're doing that. So we'll be talking about how you can manage your curriculum, what exactly the live virtual classrooms look like, how we can access them, what are the projects we have talked about, the test we have already talked about, how do they look like, how do you basically go and approach it, and also how does the caption project look like and how you can track your progress, and also basically unlock your certificate once you're done with the program, and also the support tools which are available for you 24/7. So I'm stopping sharing my screen. You can go ahead and share your screen.
So I'm going to go ahead and share. And this is the platform we've been talking about where it will give you the freedom to navigate through the course components. So you'll see the main title here, Caltech Data Analytics Bootcamp. And all the components that I explained in detail, things like the Excel analysis, data manipulation, all that stuff are available here. So you'll see we have multiple courses. So if you want to start, and these are sequential. So you see there's course 1. So you have to finish course 1 first. Then you move on to course 2, 3, and so on. Okay. So if you click on the first one here, you'll see sometimes we try to keep our content relevant. So you'll get these notifications every now and then to update your course. That way you can have the latest and greatest of our content. But I'm going to skip this one for now. And once you go to one of the components, this is the first course, which is Business Analytics with Excel, you'll see you have multiple resources here. First of all, this is the self-learning component that I talked about. So on the right, you'll see we have multiple lessons. It's broken down into multiple lessons. And this is a list of pre-recorded courses. You'll see here lesson 2 with their title, data cleaning and preparation, conditional formatting, an important function, and so on. So you can navigate to a specific topic easily. On the left, you'll see also a button for live classes. This is where instructors like me will conduct live sessions. Obviously, you'll have a schedule shared beforehand so you can prepare and dedicate time for it. So you'll find available schedule in here, and you'll be able to attend the live classes so you can ask questions and work with your instructor on specific problems. This is the assessment section here. This is where you'll see there's a project that is due towards the end of the course. And then last part, we have reference materials. So you have the slides that we'll be using in the live session, some demo projects, data sets we'll be using, and then the practice project that we're going to be running through the course, and then other resources like guided practice and so on. So you can see every course is rich with material and content that is very useful to help you uncover any gaps you may have in your learning journey. And every course should follow the same process or same content or structure. Also, another thing to add, I think some of you asked a question about if any environments will be provided. So let me show you this real quick. Go back to my program. So notice some components here, they have a tag that says labs. So we'll be either providing you with the lab environment where you can do the coding on your own, or we can help you set up your system to do your coding. For example, for Python, you can build your own environment in Python and try to do your coding in practice, or you could use our pre-built platform.
Thank you so much, Basil, for sharing with us the learning environment of the Caltech CDMA Data Analytics Bootcamp. Let me just quickly share back my screen. So we just went through the learning environment of the program. Moving on to the next slide here, talking about we have global leaders as program advisors. Rick Hefner, who's the Caltech CDM Executive Director, has over 40 years of experience in systems development and has served in academic, industry, and research positions. So now the Caltech CDMA global leaders here make sure that Simplilearn is delivering as per standards of Caltech here. Moving on to the learner outcomes here. So interestingly, previous classes of learners have consisted of, them coming from world-class organizations like Amazon, EY, Johnson & Johnson, Accenture, NVIDIA, to name a few of them among hundreds, and also diverse industries like IT, BFSI, software product, pharma, healthcare, retail. Also, it does not mean it is limited only to these industries. They also come from much more diverse industries as well. Also talking about the Simplilearn's career assist service, which we provide. This is for US learners, and here we basically provide services that gives you exclusive and dedicated help to get you ready for professional workforce. Here you get access to the job portal Resume Rabbit, which has a wide employer network. You also get a verified job search framework to provide unique jobs here. Also, resume review and rewrite services. This is in partnership with Top Resume, where you get assigned the writer who basically will collaborate with you one-on-one and also draft the resume within a week or so, and with a continuous feedback with revisions of 2 rounds. You typically will take almost 2 weeks to basically get your resume finished, and also we also provide a one-on-one interview service. This is in partnerships with Top Resume here. Based on the skill set or the job role you're applying for, an SME is assigned to you, and they will help you practice in this interview service based on the role you're applying for. And also there is a continuous feedback which is also given. Applicable roles here: AI engineer, ML, data scientist, data analytics. Also, you will be getting a Caltech CTMA certificate from California Institute of Technology, Center for Technology and Management Education. Here you can see the name here. Your name will be here for the Data Analytics Bootcamp, and will be certified by Caltech. At the end of it all, you'll be getting a Caltech CTMA Bootcamp certificate, which I've just shown you. 23 hands-on projects and 3 capstone projects with seamless access to integrated labs. You will be earning up to 13 CUs, that is equivalent to 130 hours of learning, in which you can showcase your achievements, and also you get to be a part of the Caltech CDMA Circle membership. You also will be having an online convocation with the Caltech CDMA and Simplilearn, which makes it very interesting. Not only you can invite your closest friends or family, but also for your far relatives and friends as well. And also you'll be getting exploring generative AI applications in various data analytics scenarios. You'll have a dedicated course with live sessions on generative AI and prompt engineering, which we have talked about in the electives, which are optional. They come as a part of the program. Also, practical exposure to the ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney, and other prominent tools. Also, Simplilearn's career assist service, which I've just talked about, which will help you get noticed by top hiring companies here. So, moving on to the next slide. We would love to know your interest in enrolling into the Caltech CTMS Data Analytics Bootcamp. I'm just launching a quick poll here. You can share your response as yes to share your interest towards enrollment. I'll be quickly taking you through the enrollment steps, the program fee, and the upcoming cohort of the program. And also, we have gotten some interesting questions in the Q&A box, which we'll be looking through quickly. and basically addressing your queries from the Q&A box as well. So in case I see a lot of questions on the chat box, in case you have not put down your questions in the Q&A box yet about the program you have, about a career in data analytics, anything about the program or the career, or something you're aspiring for related to that, please do let us know. Please, this is a really good time to go and put down your questions in the Q&A box. Also, meanwhile, you are already, responding for the poll here. I'm just quickly sharing the link towards the program as well, in case you want to check out the program page as well on the chat here. Let me just quickly open the link for you while you are voting for the poll here. Yeah, so this is the program page where I've shared the link also in the chat. You can check that out later. So here you can see it comes with an online live classroom here. The duration is 6 months, which I've just shared with you. All the details are there of the program here. The key features which we have covered, the certificate which you'll be getting for the program, which is in partnership with Caltech CTME. And you can check out the learning part of the program as well, and also fill in your few details for the program in order to share your interest if you would like to immediately enroll as well. The tools are covered, the career support which we give through this program as well, with which we have partnered with Talenting here. And a lot of these details you can find on the link which I've just shared quickly on the chat. So that is just a quick overview for the program. You can check out the link which I've shared on the chat for more details if you want like to enroll immediately for the cohorts which have limited seats. I'm just quickly going to show you as well that the cohort which I'll be sharing with you, which is upcoming, has only limited seats left, and the admission details and upcoming cohort I'll be sharing in the enrollment slides. So last 10 seconds for the poll here, folks. Would you like to enroll into the Caltech CTME Data Analytics Bootcamp? You can share your interest as yes on the poll which is launched right now. Folks who have joined us live on our YouTube channel, I see a lot of you there. You can share your interest towards enrolling by clicking on the link on the chat which you see, which says Caltech's Data Analytics Bootcamp. When you click on that, it will take you to the same page of the program page, and you can share there'll be a space where you can share your details to immediately basically share your interest towards enrollment of the program. Even after sharing the interest here, the learning consultants from Simplilearn will be getting in touch with you, and they will be taking you through a much more detailed walkthrough of the program. So in case you have any questions, please don't worry. We'll try to address here from the Q&A box the questions you might have about the program. In case, even if it's not answered, so please don't worry. The Simplilearn's learning consultant will be helping you out with that. So last 5 seconds for the poll here. I see the poll is still moving, so that's why I'm giving like 5 seconds more. But last 5 seconds for the poll here, folks. Basically, the poll will close in the next 5 seconds. The enrollment fee, we will be sharing that in the next slide when we talk about the enrollment steps. I think a few questions we have about the fee here of the program. Awesome. I'll be ending the poll now of last 5 seconds, extra seconds for the poll here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your interest towards enrollment to the Caltech CTME Data Analytics Bootcamp here. Now, let me just quickly take you through the enrollment steps of the program before we move on to the Q&A part of the session. These are the 3 simple, easy steps. The learning consultants from Simplilearn will be getting in touch with you and taking you through these steps only. So I'm just quickly giving you an overview of it so you're aware what is going to happen. So the step 1 here is you will have to submit an application to us. You will have to apply at askus@simplilearn.net. And the second step, based on the eligibility and the prerequisites which I've shared with you, the Caltech CTME will be reviewing the qualifications. And based on that, you'll be getting admissions offer from Simplilearn. So the learning consultant will be contacting you with the admissions offer and the upcoming cohort which you choose to join. Now talking about the program fee here. The program fee here for the Caltech CTME Data Analytics Bootcamp is $8,500 US dollars. And we got few questions if you can pay in monthly installments. Are there options available? Yes, we do have that. You can even check out the options in the link which I've shared on the chat here. I'll just share it once again. You can go and check it out for your own region as well, and what are the financial options available as well. And also, folks, if you're a working professional, you can also ask your employer for a tuition reimbursement as well. Also, as I've already shown you that we have limited seats for the cohort. So the upcoming cohort, which has the induction session on June 24th, and also the classes are also starting on June 24th. The admission will be closing on April 9th as we have limited seats for this cohort. It is already filled. So when the learning consultants from Simplilearn reach out to you, you can just basically tell them that you want to take up this cohort before April 9th. And also, if you need more assistance even after this webinar, please don't worry. You can reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net. I will be sharing this email ID on the chat for you in case you want to keep a note of it and reach out to us later with any queries you might have about the program or other things apart from the program as well if you would like to explore other programs with us as well. So I'm just sharing this email ID as well on the chat. So moving on to the Q&A part of the session. So let's see what questions we have here. Okay, let's start with. Okay, I think we have one question from Louise here, Basit.
Mhm.
What is the
Yep.
difference between a data analytics versus a data scientist?
Yeah, very important question. And I do see sometimes on some job blogs and job platforms posting that they do mess up the difference between data analytics and data scientists. So there's always an overlap sometimes. But I think for industry standard, these two are different. I would say the data analyst, basically think of it as like the basic level of data analysis, and the data scientist is the next advanced level in terms of working with data. So for data profession, with data analyst, you are basically pulling data, analyzing queries, applying some statistical analysis, but then the limitation stops where you are not applying any machine learning or you're not deploying any models. Data scientist, on the other hand, has all the skill set for a data analyst and the job responsibilities. And then in addition to that, they can build and deploy advanced statistical models and machine learning and deep learning models.
Thank you so much for answering that, Basil. Louis, let us know if that answers your question, if you have any follow-up questions for us. Just quickly going through the questions we have gotten, plenty of questions here. Okay, we have one question by Meta Sebea here. Good morning. I want to learn the course to change my career from accounting. How this course will help me out without having the IT experience to secure the job. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I can tell you the students I've had in the past that I've taught, they started from scratch. They had barely any experience with data analysis or programming, and we teach them from the ground up. If you notice in the previous slides, we have a course that it says Python Foundations or Fundamentals. So we start from the fundamentals and the essentials that are needed in order to prepare you to start applying. So you get more comfortable with Python in general, and then you move on to how to use Python for data analysis. So this course is suitable for you.
Thank you so much for answering that. Please do let us know if that answers your question. Uh, I think I've already shared the program fee, a lot of questions about that. Okay, interesting question. This is by Eric. I'm looking for a work-life balance. Is it possible in this field? Possible.
Very interesting question. Now, we can't guarantee that because sometimes it is based on your employer, right? This is more of a Think of it as like a managerial, cultural type of question. But here's my thought on this is in most cases, a lot of data analysts, data scientists, data professionals in general, they have the flexibility for having either work from home or working remotely or working in a hybrid setup. And with that comes in a good work-life balance because you don't have to worry about the commute. You don't have, all the benefits from working from home. So I would say the work-life balance is much better. And we're going to be teaching you about automation. So think about the power of automation where you're able to reduce some of the mundane tasks and it's saving you time and effort. So I would say those positives will help us a little bit determine the answer to your question. But again, it always depend on the industry you're in and the employer.
Thank you so much for answering that, Eric. I hope that answers your question. I think, Basil, we have managed to answer all the queries we have in the Q&A box. We will be moving towards the end of the session. But before that, would you like to say something to the folks aspiring, to be a data and analyst here, and also from the interest we saw towards enrollment into the Caltech CTME Data Analytics Bootcamp? I think we'll be seeing a lot of learners in the upcoming cohorts. So thank you so much, Basil. We will be ending the session now. And thank you so much, folks, for being an amazing audience. And from the amount of interest we saw towards enrollment, I think we'll be seeing a lot of you in the upcoming cohorts. So thank you so much, folks. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you. It's a pleasure hosting you, so thank you. Thank you so much. Sharing the links on the chat here for you folks once again. And also the email ID, which will help you in case you have any queries even after the webinar. Now, just to quickly remind you about the webinar certificate, folks who are looking for the webinar certificate, they can just, fill down this post-webinar survey by Zoom. So once I end the session now, you'll be seeing a webinar pop-up here by Zoom, which says post-webinar survey. And if with that, you will be able to basically fill your full name on the post-webinar survey and get your webinar certificate personalized from us. So thank you so much, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm just quickly sharing the email ID once again on the chat here. In case you have any further queries, you can quickly just go and drop us a mail here as well. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.